All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back again. This video is going to be on confirmation about parademon wings, retracting and extending, and some other stuff we're going to discuss on the side. Let's get into it. So the scripture I'm going to read today is going to be taken from Psalms 119 as usual. I'm just going to read it off the top one time. Your testimonies are wonderful, wonderful. Therefore, my soul wants to keep them. My soul, my life. And a lot of times when we talk about keeping things, we never really think about what we're saying. So, it's the good things that you've done that I've seen, which is called the testimonies. And he says, I remember these things. That's what he means by my soul will keep them. And not just keep them in remembrance, but also apply them to my life. My soul, my life will keep them. You understand what I'm saying? So it's passing on those testimonies to other people. That is, I wanted to be a part of my life. I think I'll stop right there. And there's something about receiving something and then making it a part of you that's different to just saying, a lot of these scriptures, a lot of people take it at a superficial level. They don't really understand what they're saying. And a lot of times people read by route. But this is basically saying, real simple, that's all to it, is that the goodness that, I've seen of you, it has me baffled. That's what he means by wonderful. When you're in wonder, when you are pondering on these things and don't understand how that is possible, that somebody could be good to you in spite of the way how you treat them. And so he says, my life, I want to be like that. I want to reflect that. And one of the most important things, people talk about, they fling around these words flippantly, patriotism, and, proud of your country. Well, if you're proud of your country, then you would help your fellow man in your country, the oppressed, the people who are not getting the best treatment. A true patriot wants everybody in their country to exceed their potential, to be the best that they can be. That's a true patriot. It's not just somebody going to defend the rights and freedoms of a country, or somebody who goes out in sport or whatever and lifts the morale of the country by doing something spectacular. But it's also someone on the daily basis, you and me, who try to make all little area around us a little bit better. Go the extra mile. Sometimes people say, oh, it's public property. You see somebody mess up the place, they throw something on the ground. Now, it's easy to point to them and say, hey, pick that up. That's one way of doing it. Or you could go yourself and pick up their mess and put it in the right place. And it take a lot more effort, but it's always to go that extra mile. Like I was saying yesterday as well, Kirk Franklin said something that was really true. It's easy for us to stand on the sidelines and give people instructions and advice and tell them, hey, what you're doing is wrong. But we ain't going to lift a hand to help them, show them the alternative, which is what to do, what is right. A lot of times in society, our laws are very punitive. We try to intimidate people or prevent people from doing certain things instead of showing them an alternative where these people could see that true living and really living life and really doing things that really count can be rewarding. And that's what you choose to go instead of another place where the natural consequence of those actions is actually not rewarding. So I just wanted to share the scripture with you guys. It's not just about, it's that this person, he saw how good this other person was to him, and he wanted that sort of attitude to be a part of his life. And that's different to trying to be punitive with people and trying to beat them down and oppress them and say, I'm going to beat the bad out of you. It doesn't work. 9 out of 10 times it doesn't work. But if you show a man, if you inspire him out of his doldrum, out of his depths of decadence, when you pull him out of that by showing him an alternative where he could really live to his full potential, and he really likes that and he holds on to that, he's never going to let it go. He's not. So that's what I'm saying. And I'm going to share with you guys a couple things along that line. But first, let's talk about the parademons. There are a couple things I want to say on the side of this. So let me get into it real quick. The first thing is, a lot of people associate Batman with Hades. When you talk about the gods and the pantheon, they associate Batman with Hades. And a lot of people talk about how Batman becomes a demon, or he met the bats in a cave, and that was the metaphor of a demon. But straight up, we see the difference between Batman and someone who's demonic or demon, because we see Batman actually face a demon in the parademons of Steppenwolf's hell-like world that is Apocalypse. And it's very important that Justice League is this very special movie, I think, in terms of it literally helps us to define Batman better by just what he's pit up against. And we can see the difference between the parademon and between that and Batman, as well at the same time, we're able to see also the difference between and some of the similarities they share in common in terms of attitude, but we are able to see why Batman is not a demon. He is not from hell. He is not Hades, as people like to say. You know, Batman is the Hades equivalent in the pantheon of gods. He's not really Hades. And I want to show you guys why that is so. So let us begin with the very most important fact here. As Batman pits off against this parademon here, you will notice that one thing the parademon has is the gift of flight. The parademon can be an angel of death. That is to say, he can fly. And the first very apparent thing when Batman was facing off against these parademons was the parademons could fly. So how can creatures of hell fly? It means, therefore, that hell, as Lex Luthor so truly said, devils don't really come from hell beneath us. They can come from the sky. That hell doesn't have to be beneath us. Metaphorically it is, but literally it is not. And I found this very interesting. The other thing you will notice is when you look at Batman and you look at the parademon here in this particular photo, the parademon's eyes flame with a fire. I'm going to go biblical on y'all, okay? So it is written in scripture that angels are messengers of God, and they are called spirits of fire. And it's just very interesting that this parademon, this demon, is evil angel, if you want to call it, evil messenger, coming with the message of death. This messenger has flaming eyes, flames of fire, showing that this parademon is spiritual. And it's very important to understand now we go into the spiritual realm when we talk about Steppenwolf, when we talk about the parademons, when we talk about the dark side, because why? Because these are gods, right? These are gods, the new gods, and all their minions, right? And so what I also found very interesting is the lighting in this room. There's just so much to go on here. And I know Zack Snyder directed this scene. And I can tell you that because of just the way how the subtleties and how the camera work is. But you can see that there's light coming around this parademon as it alights on this edge here and it retracts its wings. And it's very interesting that this parademon knows when to use his wings and when not to use his wings. And he has claws, all right? And he grabs Batman by his neck and he flings him. He has super strength. He just flings him across the room, okay? Flings him across the room here, smashes him against the wall. Batman is no match for the parademons in terms of strength, okay? And what's interesting to me, as you see him pull out this blade of wings here, is that the true hellish beings from which Batman himself is not really truly hellish. Batman, while he tries to bring and make hell be apparent to criminals, not to innocent people, but to criminals, he is not really someone from the hellish realm. What I mean by that is Batman he is somewhat of a tortured soul, but he's not someone who wishes people evil. So the whole paradigm behind being hellish, behind being Hades, behind being, demons, is that demons that come from the depths of hell truly wish evil upon those above. Batman does not wish evil. What he wishes is prevention of evil to someone else by bringing the pain and the fear to those who are truly evil, which is why he never has success against the Joker, because the Joker is truly evil. Batman is not truly evil. So you have to understand that that's why I'll dispute that Batman and the parademons, it helps to separate and clarify the differences between true demons and what people call Batman. You know, the bats with demons, and he's coming from hell. Notice also when we saw the incident in Batman v Superman with the man bat that was devouring Batman, it was a nightmare, right? The man bat was truly evil, and it was going to envelop Batman. Batman was about to become an evil character. He was about to go to the dark side when he was going to kill Superman, right? So it's very important to understand Batman is not an evil character. He may be bad at times. He may even be an anti-hero, but he's not evil. And I love that Suicide Squad kind of separated what evil is, unrepentant in the ways of doing bad and evil to other people. That's an evil person. A bad person, there's a potential for them to turn, okay? But they've made a lot of wrong choices, wrong mistakes in their life. Batman isn't even that. He's not even a bad person. Yes, he says he's bad to his core because he has a guilt trip. But when you think about it, Batman to his core is all about doing good. Effectively, and in his own way. Might be messed up sometimes, might break a couple rules. But at the end of the day, he is really looking to do something that's good. Okay? His intentions are good. Not only is his intentions good, but he also is not going to cross certain lines. Understand he will harm people. Okay? And he's not looking to harm innocent people, for sure. Batman's not looking to do that. So the point behind it is, when you look at Batman, Batman is not really, he's not like the criminals around him. He's a vigilante. He will do what is necessary to get these criminals arrested or put in jail or even put down. But the one thing about Batman you have to understand is, when it comes to innocent people, he's not going to mess with them. He's not messing with innocent people. That's important to understand about Batman. And therein lies the fact he's not a demon. Demons don't wish people good. And so we saw it in the parademons, which I found was very interesting, pitting them. And what's the difference between the parademons and the bats? And we saw in the beginning, when we were looking at the gargoyles, we saw the bats guarding the city. They were a source of protection to the city. Batman is about prevention. He is about guarding, protection. So I just wanted to make that abundantly clear, the difference between, you know, people like to say Batman comes with the pits of hell. He doesn't really. Metaphorically, in some respects, he does. But he's not a demon. He's not, you know, he's not trying to wish evil of other people like demons do. Okay. He has some things characteristic like the parademons. Parademon tried to commit suicide. Batman tried to commit suicide for his cause. You know, the parademons, you know, they have a way of trying to ambush you. Batman tries to ambush you. Parademons try to move in the shadows. Batman tries to move in the shadows. So there are similarities there. But when it comes to the bottom line, which is that what defines a demon, what defines Batman? Batman ain't no demon. He tries to pose as a demon, pose as a horror to criminals. But we can see some criminals see through him, and they know he ain't gonna he's not gonna cross that line. Okay? Now, that's very important for people to understand. And I just wanted to make the discrepancy between that, Batman, and the parademon, because now I'm going to go through the parademon. And just I find this so clever that I wanted to show you guys live this. So I'm going to show you a quick screenplay on the parademons here. Okay, so these are little screenshots. And I was showing you here, for instance, in this shot, you can see the parademon his wings are not out, right? His wings are not out here. And over here, his wings are out as he was leaping off the ledge, chasing down Wonder Woman, who's chasing down her sword. And here, you see the parademon, again, his wings are not out, right? And then over here, his wings are out. Okay, and then here, his wings are not out. But here, his wings are out. You can see the wings right there. And this is the wing covers. Okay, so we're gonna talk about that now. I want to just talk about. I just love it, and so I did a video. I'm actually gonna show you guys the video right now. I don't know if this thing will show, but I'm gonna show you the video right now of that. It's really cool. All right, so check it out. So as you can see here, his wings are out. Look at them retract now. See that? See how cool that is? And then when they retract there, see, he's throwing Batman here. Notice the wings ain't out there. Look at him pop out. So cool. So cool. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to see with Wonder Woman here. He leaps off the edge right there. Wings are not out. Watch them pop out. If you notice the top covers of the wings, which is these two here, they actually open out first when the wings are coming out. And the wings unfold. They actually fold in under the covers. They unfold and come out. And then the Parademon can fly. It's pretty quick. So I had to slow it down a bit. And then if you look, when it's retracting now, what happens is these wings first, they retract. They fold in like this and up, and the covers come down on them. That's why if you look, the Parademon, it looks like, you know, if you were watching like the trailer with the Flash when he was dodging the Parademon, you see these top covers, they fold in this way. They fold in this way and they close in. And that's why I wanted to show you. I was trying to point that out to you guys for a while. Okay. I was trying to point that out to you guys for a while. So I just thought that was really cool. I want to talk to you guys about something else, like being your brother's keeper. And so that's why I think Batman, he tries to be his brother's keeper, you know, and I was just talking to you guys about how God can be good to you. And because of that testimony, you try to be good to others. And it's interesting. This has to do, this Tina Small, I got this off of Josh Whedon's site. But Tina Small, he basically put this up on Twitter, and I'm just going to repeat it. Talking about you as citizens and the power you have. And you have to hold police accountable, the military accountable, your governments accountable, and you have to do it in a proactive way on the localized level. It's not just about trying to get to Congress or get laws. You have to act on the ground. And Tina Smalls was a courageous black lady who actually did this, and this was in California. I believe this is from Bakersfield to Las Vegas they were going, and there's a checkpoint there. And she said basically the police or the Border Patrol, the bus driver made an announcement. We are being boarded by Border Patrol. Please be prepared to show your documentation upon request. That's what the bus driver said. And so she realized that's not, what are you talking about? What documentation? And I stand up and say loudly, this is a violation of your Fourth Amendment rights. You don't have to show them anything. This is illegal. We are not within 100 miles of an international border, so you have no authority to ask for anything. Tell them to leave. And since my Spanish sucks, I Googled, translated how to say that in Spanish, and repeated myself. Esto es una violación de los derechos de su cuarta enmienda. No tienes que mostrarles nada. Esto es ilegal. No cumples y no tengas miedo. Están equivocados y no dejaremos pasar esto. I don't know if I said that right, but whatever. Those of you who can speak Spanish, correct me if I'm wrong. The lady next to me did not speak English. She looked terrified. I reassured her that I had her back. The agents get on. Proceed to announce that they're about to start asking people for documentation. I stand up and yell, I'm not showing you shit. I'm not driving this bus. So you have no right to ask me for anything. And the rest of you guys don't have to show them anything either. This is harassment and racial profiling. Don't show them a goddamn thing. We are not within 100 miles of a border, so they have no legal right or jurisdiction here. Google it. The agents started to look exasperated because they can see I'm willing to act a whole donkey. One of them said, fine. We can see that you're a citizen because you're a filthy mouth. And then they just said, go ahead to the bus driver, and got off. The point is, these Border Patrol officers act like they do because they expect people to be afraid of them and just comply. The lady next to me spoke no English, but she was a very kind woman. She looked terrified when they boarded. I felt it was my duty to defend her. We do not live in Nazi Germany. No one should be asked to present papers for interstate travel. I defended her, and I defended myself. We do not have to just take this shit lying down. What these officers did is wrong and completely illegal. All it took was one loud-ass black woman to let them know we're not with the shits. And screw y'all. And they backed off. Use your voice. Take a risk. Act an ass. Because if you let them intimidate the poor Spanish woman speaking next to you, who do you think they're coming for next? And she's right. Like I said before, Adolf Hitler is basically the same thing they did. They did it to the Jewish people. They did it to the crippled people. And they started to break into Jewish businesses to tell people not to go buy Jewish. And they moved like the you know, the Reich. Now we hear about alt-right. That's not cool. Okay. And, you know, I'm glad that people are putting these things on blast. This was on Greyhound, by the way. It was on a Greyhound bus. And speak out, not only speak out, but be proactive as citizens. These are people that you hired, your tax money pays for. Okay, they're accountable to you. And if they don't hold up to the laws and they're trying to bully people and behave like mobsters and they're trying to behave like the Nazis and like the Reich, then you got to let them know what's up. Okay. And it's not necessarily that the people inside of that bus, any of them had illegal papers or anything. It's just that that's illegal what they were proceeding to do. And I just want to make it abundantly clear again that you as the citizenry in your localized area, you have the power. You have the power to determine how your localized area operates within state laws and federal laws. You, not the government and central government. Okay. Yes, you must conform to whatever laws are inside of your state, but you should pay attention to what laws are being made. But on top of that, you are the one that has the final say of what happens in your state or between states. And you as people need to become more proactive in determining what you desire for the future of your states. Because the leadership, a lot of leadership is corrupted. I'm not saying all leadership. I'm saying there's a lot of leadership that's not. But if they're not doing the right thing and they're not following the law and they're not following the legal way how things are doing, and you know the law and you know your rights, and you see a citizen being harassed or anything by people who are supposed to implement the law, I don't care if they're police officers, I don't care if they're military, I don't care who they are. You do not operate above the law, right? Let's be real here, people. You do not operate above the law. So if you as citizens see this, citizens have the power for citizens arrest. Citizens have the power to document information. Citizens have the power to carry anyone to a court of law. Okay? And you guys need to implement the law to its fullest. If you find that the laws are wrong that are inside of your state, you can appeal them. And on top of that, you as a collective need to speak out about it. The more of you collectively speak out about these things, broadcast it on the internet, as well as take action on them legally, as best as you can, or in the spirit of legality, that is in the spirit of the law, then you have the right to do this. And it's not rebellion. It's these people abusing their authority. And when people abuse their authority, they're in the wrong. This is not rebellion. This is citizens empowerment. This is citizens making sure that the rights that they have are intact. This is not rebellion. Rebellion is different. When you have the right to a lawyer, or you have the rights that people are infringing on your civic rights, then it's not rebellion. They're the ones rebelling against the law. They're the ones on the wrong side of the law, and you have to correct them immediately, and you must make sure they're held accountable. And if punitive action must be taken, so be it. But really, we're trying to get everybody on board. We really want everybody on the same team. We want our police officers, we want our officials. And by the way, once again, a lot of our police officers are good people. Let's make it abundantly clear. And a lot of our police officers are trying damn hard to bridge the gap between themselves and communities. Okay? So it's a lot of good work going out there. We must not ignore that good work that's going on out there globally. But at the same time, we must hold these people who have ill intentions and who feel they need to be supremacists or they think they need to purge places. We need to hold them accountable, and they must change their behavior. And we will reward them for behavioral changes from the core, but we will not reward them. We will hold them accountable for where they're exploiting the law and where they're abusing their authorities, which were given for them to be responsibly used to protect the citizenry. There is a point at which partisanship goes out the window, and people have to defend themselves and protect their civic liberties and civic rights that they have. And so that's very important. And then again, like I said, you have to care for your neighbor. And again, even the racist individuals, they didn't just become racist overnight. These people, there was something that happened to them that made them believe that this was the way to go. And Over time, even though we may have to be punitive with some of these people and hold them accountable for the atrocious acts that they do, like murder. Like, I don't care what you murdered someone. That's serious. And we have to put these things into proper perspective. These people who've committed murder, whether you were racist, whether you were nice, I don't care. You committed murder, man. You can't just be going around killing people and not held accountable. You know, one of the things people don't understand is love is the thing that holds people accountable. Love holds people accountable. We're not hanging over your head forever. And we don't think that you will be a bad person for the rest of your life because people change. But what I'm saying is you cannot continue uncorrected, unaccounted for doing heinous acts like that. I've seen police bash undefendable people who are on phones, bash them into walls, commit manslaughter on certain people. And these police officers, they don't go to prison for that. No, they lose their job, or some of them go on pay leave. This is nonsense. I see 6, 7 cops on one person beating them up. Reminds me of what happened back in LA with that guy. What is his name? The black dude that was first caught on video. This is ridiculous. And it's not just black people now getting beat up. I've seen white people getting beat up. I saw a white guy. He was in an apartment. His hands were up in the air and the police shot him in cold blood. In cold blood. So let me just be very clear to you. You cannot abuse your authority as a law enforcement. In fact, how do these people get to be law enforcement officers? How do they get guns? How are these guys getting guns? And then the sad thing about it is some of these officers, okay, and again, the majority of police officers are not like this. However, more than enough of these incidents happen globally, not only in the United States of America, and not only because of racism, but also because of classism, because officers feel they can get away with these things. Because nobody's paying attention to these kinds of people. No, these are bad people. And so justice is not right. Some people are not seen as people. That's why the Black Lives Matter movement happened. Because it's saying, hey, these black people are people too. They matter too. They're not just monkeys. So I just say this again so that you guys can get what I'm saying. And I wanted to just talk about this alongside with the DCEU stuff that I was talking about, because I feel like both things sort of overlap with one another. There's a difference between a demon and Batman. There's a difference between people who have evil intent and people who are trying to make the world a better place. Okay? And so I just wanted to separate that. I wanted to bring that to the table as I have this live stream here. I hope you guys are enjoying this live stream. If you want to leave some comments in the comment section, it's not a problem. You know, I always like to talk about social issues. I know Josh Whedon does too. I just checked his feed. I subscribe to his feed on Twitter. So it's interesting to see him. There was another feed, which I don't too much subscribe to, but Robert De Niro just very recently said, F Donald Trump. Okay, he said that in the Tony Awards, and pretty much, I think some of the allies of the United States of America are feeling exactly the same way. Okay, Canada, which has been a long-riding buddy of the United States of America, is starting to feel the same way. The Canadians are like, "What the hell is this? What the hell is the United States doing here? What kind of policy is this?" All right, in terms of trade, and so. You can tell that Donald Trump is going down the road of isolationism, just like how, again, I give you parallels because history keeps on repeating. Adolf Hitler did the same damn thing. Vladimir Putin did the same damn thing. I'm telling you guys, this is not rocket science. Okay? The reason this dude targets individuals is because they literally have a hit list on people. And when they kick into gear, you'll see what I'm talking about. So yes, you guys should stand up and show people what America's values really are. What do you actually represent? The world is watching. Okay. So I just said that again. I just say it again so you guys will know, Don't let them spin anything in the media. They're going to spin all kinds of things. There's a spin going on out there. But we all know what it is. We all know what it is. All right? We all know what it is. So let me see what you guys got to say in the comment section before I leave. I got to go and sell and do my thing here. All right. So how you guys doing, man? This is me here. And okay, there ain't nobody in the comment section saying anything. So that's basically it for me, man. I'm gonna ride with that. You know, I gotta say my piece. I'm always gonna say my piece out here on social media. Try to keep the world as a better place for it. But I just wanted to share this stuff with you guys because I thought it was gonna be you know, relatively interesting. And you know, I just noticed the thing with the Parademons. There's some other stuff I wanted to show you from the DCEU and Justice League that you guys haven't seen before, but it'll take me too much time to actually put it together. But in time. In the meantime, man, we're looking out for the Aquaman movie. Remember on Facebook, look out for the groups that, for those of you who are on Facebook and check out my Facebook feed, I have 4 groups. I have Justice League Unite, which still people are coming to that group. It's pretty cool. About 2,000 and something members. And then I have the group Wonder Woman Lovers. We got Batman Lovers. Batman v Superman Lovers for those who love Batman v Superman. And I have Suicide Squad Lovers for those of you who love Suicide Squad. And there's still people coming into those groups. And also I'm going to open up a group for Aquaman Lovers. I'm going to open up a group for Shazam Lovers. I'm going to open up a group for Wonder Woman 2 Lovers until we can get the name for what Wonder Woman will be. Right now they just have a WW84. I don't know if that's what they're going with. I found it interesting that we haven't gotten any promos for Aquaman. But, you know, we're gonna wait on that. We're going to wait on that because Aquaman's right around the corner now. It's less than 6 months away. So it should be interesting. I mean, when did I think the 2016 Comic-Con was when Wonder Woman first came out. So it was about a year when we got the first promo for Wonder Woman. With Aquaman, I'm pretty sure there's going to be a lot more special effects than Wonder Woman is. And it costs a little bit more. I think its production budget right now is $160 million. So it's probably going to cost a little bit more, a lot more special effects. James Wan is really trying to make sure he nails it down, get it right, and be satisfied with it. So we'll see what comes up in Comic-Con and that it's consistent with it. The only controversial movies we've had so far in the DCU have been Zack Snyder movies. Yeah, pretty much. And David Ayer. But I'm looking forward to David Ayer's whatever he comes out with. I want to see him direct again. It was fun, you know, watching these different directors with their different directorial styles, you know. And for me, that's what I love about it. There's different directorial styles, but still a different kind of, you know, same universe. And I enjoy that. You know what was interesting? I just wanted to bring up something that I thought was very hypocritical. I remember people talking about how the DCU is so dark and so bland and, you know, drabby colors and stuff. Have you guys ever watched the MCU? The MCU has this faded sort of concrete, very bland look to it. Have you guys ever noticed that? I mean, if you watch Captain America, if you watch Iron Man, those were done on film. They really look rich. But the other MCU movies are very bland. In fact, they look muddy almost. You know, their colors are not. And there was a guy who did a critique on the MCU and the appearance of the MCU and how, you know, there's not a lot of post-production work on getting the color grading right in the MCU. And it's just so interesting how these Marvel fanboys have said all these things about the DCEU. And by the way, Justice League looked flaming nice. Okay. I actually like the look of Justice League. It was just coming down to the end, like I said, and a little bit of the physics of Justice League. And I've seen this movie umpteen times. I know some of you guys really love it. It was just coming down to the end of Justice League that I thought that they didn't quite get the physics right. And the color grading kind of got off. You know, it should have been better. It should have looked better. But again, this is Zack Snyder's work right here. You're watching at all of this was Zack Snyder's work. I love the color grading, though. The color, I gotta say, this must be the most beautiful looking DCEU film besides Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman was beautiful as well. But this is probably the most beautiful DCEU film I've seen. And the color grading is just fantastic. I mean, look at this color grading here. They did a phenomenal job of doing the color grading on this shit, man. Look at that shit. By the way, let's just get to another thing that I thought was really stupid that I heard. One guy was arguing with me, and he was telling me how you know, the Spider-Man and you know, the Hulk, you know, that the CG characters that you saw in Marvel and DC, that the CG characters, you know, you could tell they were CG and all the way, and that what did he say, man? He said to the effect of what did you expect? If they're CG characters, then you expect them to look that way. And it was pretty strange when he said that, because I don't think he realizes there's a lot of scenes in the DCEU where you're dealing with CG. Take, for instance, this Parademon. This Parademon is a CG character. This is a CG character, folks. This is not real. Okay? This Parademon that was fighting with Batman is CG. Okay? This scene here where Gal Gadot is diving down to get this sword with this Parademon behind, that's a CG character right there. Steppenwolf, who is punching at the Nightcrawler, is CG. The parts of the Nightcrawler are CG. This here rendition of Gal Gadot diving to get the sword is CG. Do people understand how much CG this is? This is not a real Gal Gadot here. This is a CG replica. This is doppelganger. This is a doppelganger here. This machine here is CG. Do you understand that? Do you people understand this? Like, it looks freaking real. It's CG. You know, this is a stunt double that did this. And so her face is CG'd in and the parts of her body are CG'd in. It's just crazy, man, how people don't understand. There are times when you can see the CG, and there are other times when you just can't see the CG. You would not believe this looked like a real freaking creature, man. This doesn't look like no CG. You know, but in the MCU, you can know when Spider-Man is CG. You can know, well, the Hulk is, you know, the Hulk is CG, okay? I mean, you know, it's just Thanos. You know Thanos was CG. You could tell that. Just the color coding on it. Just the way how even though he moved much more normally than the Hulk or anything I saw in Thor Ragnarok, they actually got him moving. The mechanics of his movement was actually pretty good. But we can tell he's CG because he looks like a caricature. He don't look like Steppenwolf. And there are times when Steppenwolf looked uncanny valley with his mouth, especially how it was moving and how big it was. But for the most part, if you just look at Steppenwolf's appearance and certain times when he's talking, it looked organic. It looked like a creature. He looked like a creature, which is what he's supposed to look like. A humanoid creature. So again, even certain scenes where you see Batman getting slammed against the wall and stuff, that's CG. Like where the Parademon took him and flung him, it is an actual stunt, but they also meshed in some CG with it. All right. So the CG in Justice League, in almost all the DCEU movies, the CG, well, Suicide Squad didn't have a whole lot of CG. The only CG they had was with Enchantress at the end and her brother, which is Ichabod. And Ichabod did look like a CG character. Let's just be real, okay? He looked CG. What would I say about Diablo? When Diablo changed to, he looked CG. So that those were CG characters. They had the weight and depth of them, but they still look CG to me. Okay. But you can't say that for all the General Zod was CG at certain points in time. His suit was CG. Okay. The whole entire ships and planes and the city of Metropolis was CG. You know, I just don't understand these people. Like they don't understand how much Justice League. I think when we talk about color palettes, or not color palette, color grading, the color post-production color work that they did on Justice League was beautiful until the third and final act where they go into Russia. All right. Everything else was, when it comes to color coding, I thought they were dead on the money. All of that first Great War scene was phenomenal. I mean, it was beautiful. It was just too short. Phenomenal what I saw, you know, and that's the kind of thing I was looking for. And they really got it with the color grading up till that third act. It was a disappointing third act, to be honest with you. There were some things that looked fantastic there, and some other things that just didn't really work out, you know, the way I thought it would have worked out. So, but it would be nice to see Zack Snyder do his thing. I would suggest to him he keeps this color coding that they have, the color grading. It's beautiful. And try and just extend that and get the right balance for that third act. Because I'm gonna tell you, man, Justice League for 2/3 of the film, and even coming down to the end of the film when we see, you know, the ending of the film, there's a certain part too where the Flash was running through the street, and he looked kind of weird. Something about it was wrong. I think they need to fix that. But otherwise than that, the color grading of this freaking movie was awesome. It was off the charts. I loved it. They got a color balance that was better, I think, than anything I've ever seen in the DCU so far, except for Wonder Woman. And even certain parts of Wonder Woman don't look as good, but it wasn't supposed to, but don't look as good as what I saw here in Justice League. I mean, they came with a whole different color grading, and it was beautiful. It was phenomenally beautiful. And it's not like they negated from Zack Snyder's stuff. It's like they added to Zack Snyder's stuff with the pinks and yellows and the greens, and it just got that sharpness, you know. And I know there's certain special effects Zack would have done a lot more with certain things, but for the most part, this is all Zack's work here. This is not Whedon. So gotta love it. Gotta love it, man, guys. Gotta love this. And to believe this is freaking CG, folks. That is CG. You believe this thing? That's CG you watching that there. That's crazy, man. They did a phenomenal job. And I look forward to Aquaman as well, just to see how they do the physics of that. But anyway, I just wanted to share that with you guys. Oh shit, you guys weren't seeing what I was seeing. Oh my God, I did it again, didn't I? Ah, shit. Hold on. I want you guys to see this. You got to see it. You got to see what I was talking about, man. You have to. So here it is. And I was saying this Parademon here is CG. This is not a real Parademon. This is not a real existing thing. Here it is again. This is kind of in motion. Let me show you. Here it is. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that, man. That's CG. When Wonder Woman here is jumping for a sword, right? This is CG. Her face is CG. This is a superimposition of Gal Gadot's face onto a stunt woman. This Parademon here is CG. This is CG. Oh, guys, man, I love this color code. Look at this thing. It's beautiful. I love it. I really do. This is beautiful, in my opinion. You know, and it's how naturally they move as well. The natural movement, not kind of animated caricature movement like the Hulk or like Spider-Man. It's not, you know, there were certain parts in BVS and even in Man of Steel where Superman kind of moved like a puppet on a string. I got to give them that. But for the most part, he really moved fantastic. And even with the super speed, he looked fantastic. But again, it wasn't CG Superman at those points in time when you saw him fighting. And then I love the camera angles where you actually moving with the character and fighting with the character. It's just so spectacular. Now, all the CG was great, but a lot of the CG was great. You know what I'm saying? And of course, they mixed real live elements with the CG elements, like here as well. Okay, so like parts of this is actually real, and then they animate. And oh man, I just look at that. Anyway, guys, I gotta shut it down. I gotta get out of here. But you guys have a great evening. I hope you guys have a good time. I see there's one viewer out there. Shout out to you, whoever it is. Shout out to you. I can't see who you are. Hope you guys have a great day. And God bless. I'm out of here. Peace.